The Los Angeles Lakers yesterday, if you didn't get a chance to watch the game, they snuck by the San Antonio Spurs yesterday. And if you just remember watching the game, y'all, like, it was nip and tuck the entire game. Now, a lot of this was because the amount of fouls that were drawn on both sides of the ball. There were 36 fouls called on the Spurs yesterday, and there were 30 called on the Lakers. It absolutely slowed the game up. But shout out to Luka Doncic, who did not have the best shooting game. But Luka being Luka always finds a way to be effective. He had 35 points, 13 assists, 9 rebounds, 5 steals, including Mars. You saw Wemby at the end of the game try to get that, like, nail corner pass off from the opposite direction, and Luka was in good position the entire time.
It wasn't a very enjoyable game from my perspective, but at the end of the day, the Lakers got out a good win. Fouling out Wemby with a lot of offensive fouls, I think, is representative of a bigger issue fundamentally. But I think the Lakers' game planning took advantage of some of the flaws that come from being a 7'4" guy trying to drive downhill. Marcus Smart, I think, has been amazing for the Lakers. Bar the inbound violation, we'll ignore that one. But everything else, I think he's been amazing, just putting his body on the line defensively, being able to guard multiple positions. Basically everything that you knew Marcus Smart could do a few years ago, he can still do it. I think Luka had his worst game of the season, but definitely was able to make up for it in areas such as defense, forcing turnovers, made a crazy pass to Rui. I think it was Rui, over his head, which was ridiculous. But you saw his 2-point scoring kind of revert to the mean somewhat. He was shooting like 8% on twos. Last night you saw when the floater's not falling, when you're trying to adjust around Wemby, and he struggled. But I think the Lakers being able to grind the game out when their offense isn't clicking on all cylinders with no Reeves, no LeBron, against the Spurs team that started the season really well, I think is a good sign of what they're able to do when they do focus defensively, albeit their personnel isn't great, but they're able to come up schematically, try things that maybe teams haven't seen or aren't used to seeing in a regular season setting, and are able to grind out wins. And maybe some people, myself included, might have undersold how good this Lakers team could be in the regular season and maybe even in the playoffs. So I want to give the Lakers credit. Chill was going to give DeAndre Ayton credit, so I'm going to give him the floor to do that.
I just thought that this season, and I was really critical of him early, and it was just something simple, and he did it yesterday. Just running. Just run more. And with you running more, I think that you put so much pressure on a team's transition defense, particularly their big. And I think he did that yesterday with with Victor Wembanyama. Just run more, and you put a lot of pressure on him just getting to the rim. A lot of DeAndre Ayton stuff yesterday came in the paint. I thought he was really physical with Victor Wembanyama. I thought that he really took the game to Wemby. And I'd like to see more of that from DeAndre Ayton. And I think that Luka kind of propelled that, where he gave Ayton the confidence to do that, knowing that, yo, this guy is going to me, right? He's gonna come to me, he's gonna bring the ball to me, and he's gonna put me in spaces where I can score. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Wemby is the best rim protector and rim deterrent big guy in the game. But with that being said, I feel like with what DeAndre Ayton did with challenging him consistently at the rim, and then Luka putting him in space where he could get him good shots, I thought that really gave the Lakers a lot of confidence, no doubt about that. So I still think that James is sitting on that sideline. I think he's licking his chops because he's looking at this group going, when I get back out there, how I can implement myself. I think I can help us more on the glass. I think I can help us more as a distributor. I don't think that he's going to disrupt anything in terms of offense from Austin Reeves. I think he's just going to be great when he gets back in that lineup.
Ben, especially for you, obviously you value the plus minus stuff. I do as well. But I think, single season plus minus stuff is really important. Right now, Penn, if you look at the season, I think Marcus Smart is leading the Lakers in plus minus this year. And if you just watch the impact that he's having on the game, it's, Chill loves gritty. Chill loves tenacity. Chill, you love toughness. Marcus Smart's bringing all three of those things to the locker room. And maybe very similarly to the Phoenix Suns with Dillon Brooks, there's just a new attitude that they have with him. And I think when you have a player like that is willing to do anything and everything to win, even if it's a little borderline at times, like he's committed to the process of helping the Lakers be the best as they can be. Penn, do you feel like Marcus Smart being there has not just helped like the Lakers as a whole, but maybe even is helping DeAndre Ayton a little bit with having a physical force on the perimeter?
I think the point guard center combination is always very important defensively because the point guard is able to steer the offense, right? So that's always the most important relationship. You can obviously attest to that with Murray Jokic. When Murray doesn't look good, Jokic looks worse, and vice versa, right? There's a sort of symbiotic relationship between those two. And while Marcus Smart, I definitely have a lot of apologies to issue because I pretty much said he was washed, right? And he's not, because
Why did you feel like that though, Penn?
He's been really bad for the last couple of years, and he's old. He's older. Like, he's younger than me, but he's old.
Sure.
For NBA terms, he's old, and he's had a lot of injuries. And it's nice to see sometimes that they have one more gear, one more chapter left. And it does happen. There's guys who spend a couple years, toiling around on franchises that have no business wanting to win, and they kind of just, they lay flat. Al Horford is an example, right? A lot of people sold Al Horford as washed when he went to Thunder. When he went to the Thunder, people were like, okay, this is the tail end. And then he becomes a very valuable contributor to a championship team. I think the thing with Marcus Smart is his energy is infectious, right? And so I think part of why Luka has been a much better defender this year is obviously his own conditioning, because he's mentioned that he has more stamina. His lateral quickness is better. He's lighter on his feet. He can play longer stints. All of this has been discussed. But I think a large part of it is also like Marcus Smart's a very dominant personality. When he starts locking down, you lock up too. You can't watch a guy diving on the floor like that. So even when he's shooting 1 for 7, but one thing I will just say, I disagree with Mars. I don't think this was Luka's worst game. I don't think Luka was bad at all. I thought Luka was amazing.
I agree with Mars. I agree with Mars. From a shooting aspect, he wasn't good at all, Penn. I thought that a lot of his shots, I think we had a stretch in the I want to say in the first quarter where he ended up taking 2 threes in a row, and I think it kind of threw their offense off, and they were able to get it back, but it's stuff like that. Right. I think it's stuff like that he does that kind of throws their offense, not in the tailspin, but it can throw their offense off. So Luka's shot selection yesterday was definitely not good. And I understand where Mars was coming from with that. Yes.
When you go up against the top 3 defense, though, that's going to happen. Your stars are not going to get like the best shots in the world. You're going up against length on the perimeter. You're going up against probably definitely 1000% the best rim protector in the NBA. That's a place where Luka has dominated. Right? What was the thing we talked about a couple of days ago? Luka has been amazing inside the arc and abysmal outside of it. So forcing him to take 11 threes, I think that was their game plan. We're not going to let him get past his first defender. If he gets past his first defender, we're going to put Wemby. The wall is going to be right there. We're going to make all of these shots around the rim super tough for him. So, he's not playing with ideal spacing. DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, Rui Hachimura, Jake LaRavia. This is not ideal spacing. This is not the type of spacing that Jokic is working with. This is not the type of spacing even Shea is working with when they're healthy. So this is
with that being said, though, Penn,
supporting cast.
That's a fair point. But what I'm not going to do, because Luka's a lot smarter than that, what I'm not going to do is I'm not, just because this defense is awesome, I'm not just going to force bad shots. I'm not going to allow you to force me into bad shots. Luka is a much better scorer and penetrator to allow you to just force him into bad shots. And I can't go away from the fact that Luka took a lot of bad shots last night, which weren't forced. Like a lot of the stuff that he did, like he would shoot threes off the strength that he was open, and we could have gotten a better shot than that. In terms of him getting downhill, I thought we could have done a better job at getting him in the lane, because we've seen Luka get in the lane against better defenses and dominate better defenses. We've seen Luka do that and score at the rim. Don't get me wrong, Victor Wembanyama is at the rim, but he didn't play the entire night, right? So I do agree with Miles in the aspect that Luka wasn't great last night. I'm not going to say his worst game, but Luka wasn't great last night, particularly shooting the basketball. I think that he threw them off a few different times.
One of his games has to be his worst game. He's been great the whole time. I
didn't love it.
It was either this game or his last game that was his worst game.
I think it was his last game.
I didn't love the shot selection stuff from Luka at times. Some of it's necessity because obviously LeBron Reeves isn't out there. But if you think about this Lakers team, they looked terrible in preseason. Like there was genuine concerns, and JJ Redick was like, "I don't know what I'm going to do with this group," and he was very open about how bad they looked. So they've been one of the most surprising teams. And I got to give JJ Redick a lot of credit, to be honest with you. This team's been decimated with injuries. It feels like he's pushing all the right buttons. And chill, it's not just the rotation stuff. It's maximizing guys that are available. It's stealing minutes for Reeves and Luka when they're on the sidelines. It's the timeout usage. It's, like I said, maximizing the personnel. The game in Sacramento, when he had hardly any ball handlers, and he said post-game that he's ditching all the schematic stuff and we're going to run a heavy pick and roll with Austin Reeves, and he ends up with 51 and the game winner. And then you got Nick Smith Jr. in the Blazers game who goes crazy because he gives him that empowerment. I just think that there's some great stories come out of this Lakers team. Like, if you didn't watch Sacramento or Memphis, you didn't know who Jake LaRavia was or what he brought to the table. DeAndre Ayton slowly reversing his reputation. Marcus Smart's on a redemption year. Bronny James is playing meaningful NBA minutes and not being terrible. Rui Hachimura's having a career year efficiency-wise. And I just look at this thing and it feels sustainable. You know, most of the guys have missed time. Gabe Vincent was out yesterday. Maxi Kleber hasn't returned yet either. And it feels sustainable. And to Chill's point, before the season, when LeBron picked up his player option, a media clip came out from Clutch Sports saying he wants to contend. He wants to be on a contender. And it put the Lakers on notice. And this team feels like it's sustainable. And only adding a guy who was all NBA second team last year, sixth in MVP voting, can only make this team better. And I know there's a bunch of Laker fans out there that think that LeBron's going to come and kill this thing. But the team,
I don't know why you would though.
They don't really believe that. So they don't really believe that. Damn, you know. That's one.
I want to be very clear with those people. This team, that doesn't matter how good they've started, they still are going to lack wing production. They may drop a few games just because they're integrating a new big piece, and the rotation has to change, and the starting lineup has to change. But make no mistake, this team's ceiling is far higher with LeBron than without LeBron, and when it matters most, you're going to need him.
And Damian, you actually had this to say, and that's why I want to share this right here. You said this yesterday. Damian, quoting yourself, somebody talking to you. Damian, how can LeBron return and not disrupt the Lakers' rhythm? And you said, adopt this version. So when you said this in particular, what do you mean? Can you specify to us, what does it mean to adopt that version for LeBron to integrate himself into the Lakers system?
There's some great.
Yeah, I think.
By the way,
it is.
By the way, yes,
it is great hosting. And not to quote myself, but a lot of people have been asking me. A lot of people have been asking me, Damian, how's this going to look with LeBron? I think LeBron's the type of guy who can be a Swiss Army knife. When Austin Reeves is having a career year, when Marcus Smart can do some of the ball handling, when you're getting meaningful minutes from other guys who you didn't necessarily anticipate to have the type of seasons they're having, when DeAndre Ayton's looking as good as he's looked, LeBron just has to come, play high-level defense, do the playmaking stuff, do the leadership stuff, pick his spots, be really highly efficient. Team USA LeBron in 2024, to me, was one of my favorite LeBrons ever, because you get to see the full suite of what he can do. It's not, hey, I need to average 25 and I need to put this team on my back. It's, hey, how can I fit in? And as a guy who's so versatile, who can do so many different things, who can play the five when you go small, who can handle the ball, who can score when you need, I think just adding that and LeBron just understanding with a high IQ how to fit into what's already working is going to be really helpful and powerful for this Lakers team.
That's where it is. That's where it is right there, Damian. We don't have to dig too deep into what LeBron shouldn't be doing and what LeBron should be doing when he gets back. LeBron's one of the highest IQ players in the game, and so we don't. There is no issue there. LeBron doesn't have to come back and average. He doesn't even have to come back and average 20 plus. LeBron just has to come and play basketball. You know what I'm saying? He's shout out to Rui. Y'all know I like Rui. He's better than Rui Hachimura still. You know what I'm saying? He's better than most of the guys on that team, and so it's not like there's no way Bron can make this team worse. It's just not possible. You know what I'm saying? Just with simple IQ basketball, playing good basketball, being another ball handler, being another distributor, knowing where to be, knowing how to put other guys in the right position. He can only help DeAndre Ayton. Shout out to DeAndre Ayton, by the way. But Damian, I just want to go back to what you said about JJ Redick. And this is why I was so high on JJ Redick when he got the job. And I know I hate doing this. It feels so uncomfortable praising the Lakers, but I have to because it's basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like when JJ Redick was going for the job, a lot of people were saying he wasn't ready. But you can see JJ Redick has just the right amount of arrogance to believe that he can do this job, and he's doing it. You know what I'm saying? He's actually coaching this team, and he's not coaching by the book. He's not just, oh, well, this is the top guy, he has to do it. Like you said, he's empowering other guys to know that you're a professional basketball player and you can come out here and play professional basketball against anybody, with anybody, because that's how basketball works. JJ Redick is a brilliant basketball player. He came up under Coach K. He went to Duke. He's played all around the league. He knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And he's really coaching his basketball team. Once again, shout out to DeAndre Ayton. And check out Luka playing a little defense, y'all. This is I was and you know, Swiper, I didn't watch. I think you said this, Swiper, or maybe it was you, Penn. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I didn't watch the Lakers in the preseason, so I didn't know that they were looking bad in the preseason. I was just going based on the team they accumulated, going off the Marcus Smart pickup, the fact that I'm high on Jake LaRavia. You know what I'm saying? And I was high on this team already, and I think they're showing that, bro. I think they're really showing this is a team to be feared. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing this without Bron, a guy that I think was first team on All NBA last year. So it's going to get ugly.
And chill, sorry, my bad, real quick, because we have something relevant to that. So Mitza Cole, $10 super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Keep my coach's name out your mouth in regards to JJ Redick. Keep Big Dominating's name out your mouth. I don't want to hear any disrespect towards the Lakers. This is a two-way MVP race between point guards. And again, I think if you're watching what the Lakers have done this year, we did not expect that they would have this kind of a start to start the year off. So, I mean, this is, you know, Ayton's playing well. They're doing their thing. They're doing a lot of really good things.